I arrived in Melbourne, they'd started principal shooting and they were shooting a lot of the bikie stuff, and they kicked them out of their accommodation and put us in to the accommodation.
When we stayed in Mel's flat that first couple of nights, we always talk about the bronze, you know, the bronze, the enemy. And we walked around talking that, where we'd even say it to Mel and Stephen.
My senses were being assaulted continually from meeting Hugh Keays-Byrne and the rest of the bikies, and who made us feel completely unwelcome because they were sort of doing the method thing. And we were the bronze and we were hated.
Which I was very uncomfortable with. I was like, okay, but you know, it's their way of doing it. Let them go. They were very separate, you know, like trying to instill fear and trying to intimidate in social situations. It really had that us against them feel, and there was more of them.
We wrote in blood all over the flat, where we cut our thumbs and everything, and wrote on windows and stuff, "Bronze, we're gonna get you."
We wrote them a letter in blood saying that we were fucking looking for them on the road.
I got back to my unit at night and tried to sleep and looked at the ceiling, and there's messages written in blood, supposed blood, from the bikie gang to us, threatening with all sorts of dire things.
I mean, it was really infantile at times, but that was great.
I was never involved in writing letters in blood, but I do believe that somebody was. And I know that Mel was rather disturbed by that and thought it was sort of dysfunctional behaviour, and that these people were a bit crazy and sort of like he didn't like being around. And though that's all fine, that suited us down to the ground.
I felt like, geez, these guys are pretty heavy. I mean,
he didn't know what he'd stepped into, and he didn't know Hugh, he didn't know any of us. And he thought that he was going to somehow cop it, that we were going to give it to him as a real bike gang and beat him up, or we were going to do injury to him. And we always played it like that to him whenever we saw him, you know, that we'd always come on, and to us, to me at the time, well, I was just having fun. But he is a young person, and there was like 5 or 6 of us as the main group, and then everyone else around us. It was very, very threatening.
And they certainly came across like a coherent group of, you know, I mean, they were their own culture, which is good, you know, that sort of, that underpinning that they gave themselves is really good. And they'd been at it a longer time. I mean, I just got out of school and they were like, already been living in their clothes for like 3 months, and they had the motorcycle thing down. And
So we did play that all the time on the set with whoever was around.
And I'm sitting there in the hairdressers, and in the distance you could hear this rumble of the bikes, and they just came down Toorak Road in a pack, all the acolytes, all the guys on the bikes, and they parked the bikes out front of the hairdresser, and they came in. I think Hugh was in the front, you know, and you know how he used to wear his helmet on top of his head. And I hadn't seen them before, so this was my introduction to them. They walked up and they just swept up my hair off the floor and put it in a bag, and off they went. And I'm thinking, what is all that about, you know? But then later, you'd come home and you'd find notes hanging from the ceiling with little bits of my hair stuck to it saying, "We're gonna get you, Bronze," and, you know, bits of fake blood all around the place. So they played it on and off the set, you know, so it didn't matter if you were filming or not. We were the Bronze, and they were out to get us.
So then I started to realise there was a war going on between the cops and the baddies. And yeah, it rubbed off on me. It subconsciously rubbed off. I wasn't fully aware of it until we started to work and started to read these messages, and then I realised, so that's what's going on, yeah.
I remember turning up at Rush's and they were all, you know, they all wanted to bash us and stuff. And that was good. That was ultimately was good.
I remember walking in and hearing whispers from the dark as your eyes began to adjust. You saw guys who were wearing animal skins and stuff lying around on the floor who didn't smell too good, going, "It's the bronze."
It gave it a real tangible sort of sense of, you know, of the division between the two, and there was no love lost anywhere.
We played it that we were really in charge. Wherever we went, we were in charge, and that nobody told us what to do or how to do it, even on the set. That we were the one, and they let us get away with all of that.
It's effortless to be that person if everybody's treating you kind of like that person all the time.
And we didn't hurt anyone. You know, we didn't actually hurt, but we insinuated all the time that we might if we didn't get our own way. We're always insinuating that the potential behind us was very violent. And that sort of scared people.